All right. This is Scare Talk. I am Danny, and I am here with Captain Katrina.
Oh, okay.
And today we have another special interview episode regarding Peter Pan's Neverland Nightmare, which comes out on January 13th, 14th, and 15th in theaters in the US. So get your tickets now. So you can make sure to be there. Today we have the director and writer, Scott Chambers. Bring you on here. Hey, Scott.
Hello. Hey, how are
Hi.
you?
Doing good.
Hello.
Doing good. Thanks for being here. And then we also have Rhys. Oh my gosh, Rhys Waterfield. Sorry, I couldn't read it. How are you doing, Rhys?
Yeah, I'm good, thanks. Thanks for having us on. How are you both doing?
Doing good.
Good.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're excited.
Yeah. So Scott is the director and writer, and Rhys, I know you directed the two Pooh Blood and Honey films. What is your role in Peter Pan Neverland Nightmare?
So I was the producer on this one. Likewise, Scott was the producer on Winnie 1 and Winnie 2 alongside me. So me and him have kind of been working together on all of these films. But we're handing over the directing reins to him on Peter Pan, and then it went back to me on Pinocchio. So we're sort of taking turns.
Oh, okay. Okay. This
Very
is
cool.
fun. So you guys get to share the roles.
Yeah. That's awesome. All right. So we did see the film recently, and we both really enjoyed it.
Oh,
It's I know I've seen interviews with both of you regarding this film, and both of you said that it's very dark, and so I was very intrigued by that. And you guys were very, very. That was a very true statement.
Yeah, we were not joking.
Yeah, it's very dark. And I love what you guys are doing with these childhood characters. Some people may not, but we're enjoying it. We're having a lot of fun with it. This one I wouldn't say is fun. The Pooh movies maybe are a little more fun. This one was a harder watch, but very, very well made. So we recommend it to anybody who is watching this. We do have some questions about it. So, Scott, you're the writer and director. What, inspired you to want to do this film?
yeah. So basically, I talk a lot in other interviews and stuff about when I get asked this about the Conjuring universe, and with that universe, when you look at stuff like Annabelle and the Nun, all that kind of stuff, they've got the same tone. You kind of know what you're getting yourself into. Whereas I didn't want that for our universe. I wanted it to be a lot more open and broad for different horror fans, because I feel like there's just so many lovers of different styles out there, and I wanted that to be a thing in our universe to keep it open to everyone. So for example, something that if you didn't like Pooh 2, you might like Peter Pan. If you don't like Peter Pan, it's too dark, you might like Pinocchio. They've all got their different own thing for it. And then as a director, you just have to be incredibly invested. Goes without saying, but especially on low budget. So it has to excite you. And for me, me and Rhys are just different directors, and we've got different kind of interests. Like he loves like campy, fun films, whereas I'm always the more serious one. I love like French horror, stuff like that. And because I come from an acting background, I always look for like fun characters that I can like toy with and that I would want to play, so that when I get to directing them, I get to play them in a way. So yeah, I feel like that's how I came to this. And then when you look at Peter Pan, just the story in general, it was hard to make that lighthearted, even if I wanted to, because if you think about it, it's the guy that comes through the window, lures your child out, and you never see them again. They go to Neverland. So when it's dealing with children, I feel like there is a bit of a fine line, and I didn't want to be laughing at this. I wanted it to be serious. And obviously, as we get closer to the Poohniverse, these films are introducing you to these characters, because when you get to the Poohniverse, monsters assemble. we need you to feel a certain way about some of them, because you're going to have the bads and then the big bads. And I definitely wanted Peter Pan to be in the big bad element. So you need to already despise him by the time you get there.
Yeah.
Awesome.
So then that gives us kind of a clue or a hint that when we're watching these movies, if it's directed by Scott, then it's going to be one of those kind of darker movies. If it's directed by Rhys, then we've got kind of more of a fun, campy feel.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, for example, my next one that I think I'm going to direct on my own is going to be Alice and the Mad Hatter. And I think that one, I love stuff like, in that one, again, it's just trying different stuff out. And I love stuff like opera. So I'd love to play with elements of that. I'd love to play with, I thought I personally really like Maxine. And I would love to play with elements of that, and just maybe Maniac with Elijah Wood. I feel like those 3 films with my own sprinkle is what I want to create there, but maybe not as dark as this. I want you to enjoy it a bit more. But yeah, and then you'll see, like with Pinocchio with Rhys, I would say that's not as campy as Winnie the Pooh Blood and Honey 2, but it's definitely fun, isn't it, Rhys?
your webcam. Sorry, I sort of it's just got a mind of its own. Like, it's just moving all over the place.
It's really having fun with me today.
But yeah, you're right. Like, I definitely gravitate more towards like the funner side of it, the like horror comedies, and I think that's like, it's nice because some of the concepts we're doing, they're so varied, and like with Winnie the Pooh, because it's just a yellow bear and he's got those little silly ears. It's like you can't go 100% like dead serious with that. You have to embrace the fun with it. I felt Peter Pan was one of the ones where we handed it over to Scott because he really likes going down like a grounded, serious route, and it felt like the one you could embrace that the most. But then Pinocchio was one I was like, I really, really wanted to do. I was obsessed with it because, like, I absolutely love the slashers from like the 70s and 80s and like Chucky. And I was like, okay, this is a vibe that needs to go down. This needs to go down a fun horror comedy kind of route, which is where I've taken it. I'm really, really happy with that as well.
Okay. Cool. Yeah, because I was curious about Pinocchio because I feel like I could see it going both ways. It can be, I feel like I could see it as a very dark movie, but then I could see it as that fun, more Winnie the Pooh style. So I'm excited to see where it goes. Yeah.
It's like halfway in between Peter Pan and Winnie 2. But Peter Pan is definitely the most serious and dark of all of them.
It's already a kind of twisted story anyway, like you said, Scott. So
okay, so what was the casting like for because you guys casted this amazingly.
Thanks.
Wendy
I'm really proud of them.
Yeah, the Wendy character, Peter Pan, is terrifying. Tinkerbell, that like story between Tink and Pan is just like really thick. And so what was the casting like for this?
Yeah, the casting, it was one of the most important elements of the whole process, because I knew that if my actors weren't great, this whole film falls apart, because it's a lot more character driven than a lot of horror films out there. Like, I'm not relying on constant deaths and constant this, that, and the other. It's like, and I haven't got like this big monster, like, it's all in the performances. So I auditioned a lot of people, and I was getting really nervous because the people I ended up getting, they actually came in right at the end, as in their audition tapes. So when I was actually auditioning initially, I was getting really nervous because the Peter Pan auditions, they were just playing it like just villain, and I don't like that. Like, as a performer, I'm looking for like stuff in the eyes. I want to see like these emotion in the eyes. It's very subtle, and that's why I go for a lot of close-ups and stuff. I don't like big performances where it's like, I'm angry. I don't like any of that. So I was looking for like subtle performances, and when I found Kit Green and Martin Portlock and Megan Placido, who play Wendy, Peter, and Tinkerbell, I got very excited. I got them to do a second audition tape just to make sure that it wasn't a fluke, because you never know. And so I got them to do it again, and I gave them a little bit of direction to see if they could kind of change it up, just to see if they could take direction. And they nailed it. And then I knew the next part was to jump on the phone with them and make sure that they could trust me, that they didn't seem like divas, just to be completely honest. I didn't want to work with someone that was going to be a problem on the day. And to talk about what is going to be expected in terms of the mindset. Like, I need actors that are going to truly give themselves to this. I don't want actors that are there for set life. I want actors that are there to do a job and to do it really well. So the focus was going to be super important for them. They're going to need to look after themselves, because it's going to be fast paced at times, and I need them to be able to get to them emotions and all that kind of stuff. And it takes a lot of like stamina to do that. And to keep doing it over and over again. And then, especially when you get towards the end of the film, the three of them characters, they go through it, and I wanted it to be like, as soon as it kicks off, it just doesn't stop until the film ends. And I wanted it, for example, with Wendy, I wanted it to be like this real 19-year-old girl is coming face to face with this lunatic who's adrenaline fueled and enjoys torturing people. And this, do you know what I mean? Like, he's like a kid, he gets off on it, he loves it. It's like a game to him. And I just needed to go through like the prosthetics with them, make sure that they would just give themselves to this, and they would trust me, because on the day, like, it's all about trust at the end of the day, because I'm not going to have time really to go to do 20 takes. I'm probably going to get 3, and I need them to give me like a big performance, you know, a 50% of that and a 25% of that. So I've got variations for my edit, and I need them to kind of be okay to look ugly on camera, be okay to give me that like snot coming out of their nose. I want that gritty performance. I don't want a pretty cry with one tear. I don't want that. I want them to look like messes. But I was lucky that I got there, but I wasn't going to just cast anyone. I was very like stubborn about that. I was like, I'm gonna find my right people. So
and some of the other characters you didn't mention, like they kind of got brought over from Winnie the Pooh 2. So if you notice some of these characters, and it's because we kind of we want this universe to be integrated, and there to be these links, but also we were really happy with how they were on our prior film. So like the mum in this was the therapist from Winnie 2, and she's absolutely amazing in this.
Yeah, incredible.
Peter as well, he played young Winnie the Pooh, and he did an awesome job as well. And Lucas, the opening boy. There's a lot of these characters, and you felt really confident in them because you'd seen them in the prior film.
Yeah.
I do have a question about one of them, but I will ask you guys off the interview. I don't want to give anything away. The zooms, you were talking about close-ups. So when I was seeing some of those, like, you know, the shaving and the, you know, just the makeup, the, you know, that just grotesque, gross, grimy kind of looks. It really reminded me of Rob Zombie.
That's what I was. Yeah.
And how he kind of does those, and it makes you kind of feel a little uncomfortable, and it gives a grimy and gritty look to the film. And I did notice that multiple times in the movie, and it really puts you in that place. I think that was a very, very good choice for this movie, for sure.
Oh, yeah, thanks. Yeah, I wanted it to feel like when, especially at the beginning, you spend your time with Peter Pan, but then when you're with Wendy, I wanted Wendy's like her lighting mood board was always quite like, if you notice, it's warm colors. She lives in a very clean house, all this kind of stuff. It's all very clean and all that. And then as soon as you go to Peter Pan, it's the grungy tones, it's the dirty shots, it's the everything about it has to feel gross and grim. And a lot of that actually came from also my set designer, Bridget. She just smashed it. Like, we worked really closely together in the pre-production about how I wanted Peter's house to feel, the elements, and she really, there's so much. I wish I could have filmed all of it, but there's just so much I didn't show really. But there was so much that she just brought that house to life for me, and it was so incredible, and she just smashed it. But Rob Zombie's totally. I think I get really, like, especially with this, I knew I wanted it to feel dirty. I wanted you to feel uncomfortable. That was a big thing. Because of the tone of the story and the abductions of the kids, you had to feel uncomfortable. So that was like a natural thing in terms of you know, the color palette, the shots, and all that. But yeah, I love French cinema, and I always find that they're very gritty and they're very like just the tone and the performances. They're very, very like earthy, if that makes sense, and very like genuine and real. And yeah, that's what I wanted. So I'm glad you picked up on it.
Yeah. Those scenes were some of my favorites. I also really liked the some of the reflections that you guys did with like the water, the blood. One of those kills, there's a reflection of Peter in the blood. I thought that was so cool.
The comic book guy.
Yeah. That kill, and then the blood puddle and him, Peter, you can see in the I thought that was really cool cinematography. You don't see that too often. It enhanced that scene for sure, which is one of the better scenes. I'd really like that scene.
Yeah, well, a lot of it, like, so in terms of like the shots and stuff, a lot of it was storyboarded and shortlisted. I knew what I wanted going into it, and that was all down to scheduling and timing. Like, I knew I had to hit the amount of time that I had on the day. So every single scene, I had the shots that I wanted, and then at the end, it would be kind of like if I have time, I'd love to get these shots. But some of it was made up on the day. For example, actually, weirdly, that puddle shot that you're talking about, that was in front of the school bus, that was actually Rhys's idea. He just saw it on the day, and I was actually manically trying to get these shots because, long story, but the lighting changed halfway through that scene because it was natural light, and the sun went down, and it was like, damn, now, and we had to reshoot this massive crane shot that we'd just done, and we had to reshoot it all because it didn't match the rest of the scene by that point, because the sun had gone down, and Rhys saw this shot amongst us, you know, resetting things, and I was like, yeah, grab it, it'd be great. And yeah, I'm glad that you like that, because I think it's beautiful as well.
Yeah.
Nice, Rhys.
Yeah, nice job. That's that scene is good too. When he gets, I mean, it's in the trailer when he gets into the bus, and it's like, who wants to go to Neverland? I don't want to go with you.
He's been quoting this like over and over, and I'm like,
I'm trying to get that voice. It's so cool.
Yeah, I love that bit.
Yeah. Okay, so the final battle, you guys were talking about that third act and how it's so fast paced and just nonstop action. Wendy, you know, we have the term final girl, right?
Yep.
She is final girl. Like, she's my favorite kind of final girl, where it's not running away and hiding and screaming, and she's fighting. And it reminded me of, you know, if you guys seen Terrifier 2 and 3, Sienna, and how she fights with art in the third act. I was getting that. This is darker than those films, but she was fighting back, throwing stuff. She was kicking them. You know, I was like, okay, awesome. And we want to see Peter get kind of messed up. You know, he's the ultimate evil. So I thought that was really, really cool. Good choice.
Oh, thanks. Yeah, no, it's the same with me. Like, when I watch horror films, I really don't like when, especially the final girl, by the end of it, she's got like a little dribble of blood and that's it. Like, I was like, you know, I really do like people looking fucked up at the end of the films. I feel I want realism out of this, and I wanted it to feel like this genuine 19-year-old girl. If she was in this situation with this guy with this adrenaline who enjoys the fight as much as, you know, a kid was playing it had to feel like she was really going through it. The swings, the punches she gives, they have to feel like a 19-year-old girl that's never done it before. Everything, the throwing of dishes, it's just like, in that situation, what would you do? You just throw, and you just try and move, and you try and chuck things. And I wanted it to feel really genuine, but she had to go through it as well. She had to leave. If she was going to get out of some of those scenes, it had to be genuine, and she had to be, you know, things had to be missing. You know, I won't say what, but actually, there's a little picture there, isn't there? Maybe she loses some fingers. Maybe she loses some fingers, but I wanted it to be like she had to be fucked by the end of it, because to go up against someone that ferocious, there's no way you'd get out easy. And a big thing is to make her a true fighter and not someone that just wants to flee. She has moments where she could flee. The stakes had to be there, and not only is it to protect her brother, to save her brother, But if she does not bring him home, I feel like her whole life will change. Her mum will never forgive
Yeah.
her. Like she will
Yeah.
lose everything, not just
Yeah.
the brother. So the stakes were so high that it made her be a fighter. And that was something that from the get-go, when I was writing the script, I knew that Wendy's journey had to be something that she was fighting for from the get. Like as soon as we meet her, she's already got this dynamic with her mum. They
Yeah.
don't see eye to eye, all that kind of stuff. So
Mhm.
I needed that to already be there, and then to keep making things worse for her, worse and worse and worse. And even when she has this opportunity to wait and charge the phone and ring the police, the van's driving off. This is her one chance to follow. And then she
Uh-huh.
uses her best friend's car. And if you notice, the car I gave her best friend was a car that would not have something to charge a phone up with. It was all done on purpose. I'm
Mm.
trying to. What would you do? Ah, but she can't. What would you do?
Yeah.
Ah, but she can't because of that. So yeah, I'm really glad that you like what I did with Wendy. I wanted it to feel genuine. I wanted you to root for her and go, fuck yeah, you know, and
Yeah.
hate him and hate Peter Pan so
Yeah.
much, so that when she does get those one-ups on him, you really enjoy those moments.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Well, and what stood out to me was what you said earlier about building that that distress for her early on, where it's like
Yeah.
she had already forgotten his birthday, and so she was already feeling bad about that. And then
Mhm.
she, you know, her taking that blame on of
Yeah.
what happened, and then
Yeah.
it gave her more of that fight.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. So
Uh,
she reminded me of kind of a mix of Sienna and Nancy Wheeler from Stranger Things.
Oh,
Kind of
interesting.
the Nancy Wheeler vibe from her.
Nice. So you mentioned, yeah, there's a scene where she needs to charge her phone. You know, her phone is
Mhm.
dead. And I feel like in most horror films, it'd be like, oh, my phone's dead. Oh, well. Like, I just need to be able to move on. But she grabs a charger. Like, she's resourceful.
Yeah.
She's like, okay, I'm going to bring this with me. I'm going to find a
I
way
wanted her to
charge
be
it.
smart. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I
Mhm.
wanted it. I wanted it to be like when I write scripts, because again, I come from a performer background. I always go, "What would I do?" And then I was like, "Okay, well, I would the phone." It's like 2024, you know, like the technology is so friggin' annoying. But I knew I had to get rid of it, so we had to see that phone die from a normal activity. So she's sleeping at her mate's house. She didn't bring her charger because she stormed out of her house because of the argument with her, well, the altercation with her mum. The phone died because she was watching the videos of, you know, the missing person videos,
Mhm.
which again would happen. You'd be obsessed with it. You'd want to know, you'd want to be watching all the videos you can. And then I just had to have it be a natural thing. Like, she doesn't have these things on her. She was trying to find the charger, and it was like, when that car is going, she knows, as a normal 19-year-old girl, I need help. I can't get help, so I need to figure it out in the car. But obviously, in the car, it's an old car. And then when she gets there, I wanted her to be resourceful. I didn't want her to be stupid. I didn't want the cliches to make her this character that you go, oh, why don't you just do that? And I feel like I
Uh-huh.
would. If I saw the charger, I'd be like, fuck it, I will figure this out. Like,
Yeah.
there's no way I can follow this lunatic with no help. Like, it's key in her survival that she does try and get help. I feel like with Peter Pan, I think she probably went into that situation thinking she weren't going to get out, but she was going to do
Yeah.
everything she could to win. Like, she had
Mhm.
to. Like, I feel like the stakes are so high that if she didn't try, her life would be over. So no matter either way, it's like, you know, she had to.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's cool how the phone kind of came into play later.
Yeah.
And how that, you know, it was so realistic. Like when your phone comes back on, you're gonna get all the messages.
I wanted that because when it happens in that scene, obviously I won't say the scene too much, but in that scene, I didn't want a little noise. I wanted it to go boom, 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 and then Peter to have that realization of the betrayal. It was like, what the fuck is that, and who is here, sort of thing. And I wanted, because hopefully by that point, the character that's in that scene with Peter Pan, hopefully you've really fallen for her at that point, and you understand her, you care, and it's like, oh shit, what's gonna happen now?
Yeah. Yeah, that was good stuff. So throughout the movie, and especially at the end, I was like, man, this is so good. But I wonder, like, do you guys ever have the thought in this Poohniverse that if you guys had a different title, and if you didn't have the same character names, that this would, because there's ultimately going to be people that aren't going to take it seriously. They're not going to see it because of the title and that, we're in different horror groups and we follow different reviewers and stuff. And some of them are like, I'm tired of this. I don't like this stuff. Do you guys ever think like, if we didn't do this name and these characters, maybe we could reach a broader audience? Is that something you think about?
I think it's the opposite. I think the only reason we are where we are right now is because of what happened with Winnie the Pooh 1. It's that IP and that public domain element which has made it kind of blow up for us and given us a bit of a niche. Prior to that, we'd made a lot of films on very, very little money, like 20 grand budgets, basically nothing. It was like the budget of like a short film. And we were in the process of learning filmmaking then. So that blew up. That gave us a platform and a bit of an audience. And now we're with these films. We didn't want them to just come across as like, cash grabs, because we could have, basically made them on the same budget as we did with Winnie 1, let them earn what they earn and then just call it quits there. But we're trying to reinvest as much as possible and get these budgets to a high level to make good films. And I'm hoping that IP element is allowing it to reach like quite a number of people. They can see us as filmmakers, they can like and enjoy it, they can buy into the universe, and then we can roll it out into what we're going to deliver with Poohniverse, which we're shooting at the end of the year. We do have like concepts and scripts which are not IP driven, but the thing is it's so hard as an indie filmmaker. Getting a project greenlit and moved is almost impossible. Like you need something like that to help market the film. That's what we're doing. But we're taking it very seriously and we're trying to make the best films we can and make each one better than the last.
Okay. Well, I feel like, I hope that people are going to take it seriously because like I said, I think a lot of people are just going to write it off as silly just because of the name, without having seen any bit of it. And so I hope, especially with this one, because, the Winnie movies, I really like the second one, like really, really I did. And, but it's not for everybody, and this one, it's not going to be for everybody as far as the dark content and everything. But as a horror film, it is very, very good. And so I'm trying to champion this. Like, I know you guys maybe have seen the first one and maybe you like the second one and, but maybe you're kind of like done with this universe. Maybe you're done with the, what they might think of as gimmicky horror. But no, go see this one. I'm telling you, like you'll take this more seriously and you'll be on board. Just give it a chance.
Yeah. Well, and the thing is like Winnie the Pooh, I think was one of the hardest ones to do because those are loved characters. Those are like those, like nursery characters, like you read those to your newborn, and these like beautiful quotes that come out of it that are inspiring us for life and everything. And I mean, maybe you can tell I love Winnie the Pooh. And it was hard for me to think of Winnie the Pooh being like turned into this horror character. And then it was like, okay, how silly do we go with it and how serious do we go with it if we want to be taken seriously, if we want to just be a joke. But with Peter Pan, this is already, like we said earlier, a story that is like, you watch it and you already are uneasy with this, whether you're watching like the original story or the Disney story, even the Disney, it's like, this is a little twisted, Peter Pan's a little twisted. And so I feel like it gives to that ability to make it into horror. And that's why, again, I just think it was great that you guys did this difference between, a really serious one and more fun horror comedy with the other. that's why I think people really need to give this a chance.
Yeah.
The whole universe a chance, because
I hope so. Like we're building obviously towards the Poohniverse as well, and that's what I was saying. Like it's so important that you have these feelings about some of these characters, because by the time you get to Poohniverse, there's like 12 villains in that. We don't have time to kind of like hash out all of their backstories. So the hope is that people do give these a chance, and when you get to the Poohniverse movie, you already have this feeling against him, because I want the big bads and the bads, and obviously Peter Pan being in the big bad, so that when he's opposite someone like Pooh don't look so bad anymore, and you're rooting for Pooh to win these battles or whatnot. But yeah, I think there's a lot of fun to be had, and even if people do skip these, I'm very confident that Poohniverse Monsters Assemble people will watch that, and then hopefully, given that, they'll go back and watch some of these, and hopefully people will get on board with us film by film by film. We're trying to show people what we can do. So yeah.
Well, and the way that you guys kind of saved the Winnie 1 with Winnie 2, like how you guys created that into the universe in a different way, that I don't want to give things away, but.
And did you see in Peter Pan someone's wearing the Winnie Pooh Blood and Honey 1 top? So that was quite fun.
Oh my gosh, I didn't. We're gonna have to see that again.
The little boy, Joey. So he wears Winnie the Pooh Blood and Honey as a pajama top. So yeah.
Oh my gosh, that's awesome.
Yeah, we've got future plans for that. That there's this, like with Winnie 1, it being within the universe, so that will feature in it at some point too. So I kind of had this scene in my head where I'm like, I'd love to see it. So I'm going to try and make it happen at some point. But the kind of Winnie 1 version of Winnie versus the Winnie 2 version of Winnie. So it's like, what if the two Winnies came like face to face? I think that'd be a really fun scene. So for a later date.
That's cool. Yeah. That's really cool.
Okay, so what other films can we expect? I know we talked about Pinocchio. We've also interviewed some of the Bambi Reckoning cast. And I know that's coming. When might we be able to expect Bambi?
So Bambi, we're actually delivering it literally right now. So we've finished it. It's literally being sent over to the distributors literally right now. So the penciled release is March, so you'll be seeing Bambi very soon. He's going to be whipping his way out to the cinemas. And then hopefully shortly after that, Pinocchio, which I'm incredibly excited about people seeing. Like, I've been watching Rhys's edits, and he really has... I think it might be my favourite one now out of all of the films we've made. But the animatronics of the doll, there's no VFX in this film. It's so good, guys. Like, I'm so excited. And then obviously we film Poohniverse, but then the next one I'm going to be directing is Alice and the Mad Hatter, which I'm going to be I want to make it like as I say, like Maxine. So I think that will be my next one. And then Rhys, I think you're probably Winnie 3 or something, I guess, for you. I think you don't really know.
I saw that was announced.
Yeah, I see. I think with something that I don't want to do is I don't want to oversaturate it with the Winnie characters with what we're trying to do, because it's a lot of like Winnie 1, Winnie 2, and Poohniverse is very centered around the Winnie the Pooh world as well. And then Winnie 3, it's like, I feel like we could do some different things. So I'm still a bit 50-50. We're going to do Poohniverse. That will then come out. We're probably haven't picked a date, but we're going to be filming that this year. And then we're going to kind of play it by ear a little bit then. But I've got some other characters in mind too. So
nice.
Okay.
Awesome. I saw we only have a couple minutes.
Yeah. So if you guys can tell us real quick some of your favorite horror films.
Oh yeah. So mine, which I'll actually mention the films that if you watch, exactly. If you watch the ones I'm about to say, this will get you right ready for Peter Pan. So French cinema love. So Switchblade Romance, a film called Inside, Martyrs, and then an Australian film that is just needs and deserves so much more praise than just people watching it. It's called Hounds of Love, and it's based on a couple who were serial killers, I think in the 80s or 90s, and it's about this couple that will abduct a girl on a Friday, do their way with the girl over the weekend, and on the Monday kill her. However, it's not about the deaths itself, it's about the manipulation the female in that relationship undergoes by the husband, and it is incredible. So those are my recommendations and my favorites.
Okay,
cool.
Nice.
What about you?
All right, Rhys.
Yeah, I'm definitely drawn towards like slashers overall. So I'm like a big fan of like the 70s and 80s kind of slashers, you know, like the Freddy Krueger, you know, like Jason, Chucky, all of those. However, last year was an amazing year for horror. The amount of like quality horror films we got, and one of the ones I loved from last year was Romulus. How many times did I see that in the cinema, Scott? 4 or 5 times?
Yeah,
like I'm genuinely not joking. When I really like a horror film, I just go again and again and again because I like to I watch it to enjoy it. Then I kind of watch it, enjoy it a second time, but then I start like analyzing it. And I'll sit there and be like, what was good about that? Like, I'm going to see Nosferatu again tonight. I watched it yesterday or the day before. So yeah.
Nosferatu, I can get on board with.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So not to brag or anything, but I was one of the first people to see Alien Romulus.
Oh,
really?
I saw that. Yeah, it was the first screening anywhere. Ended up being in Sacramento where we live, and it was kind of like a secret as to what the movie was going to be.
Oh, wow.
And, so I saw it 6 months or so before it came out. So yeah, that was awesome. It wasn't completed. Some of the CGI and effects weren't done, but I was excited to see that again, and we saw it again in theaters.
Yeah, he talked it up, and I went and saw it.
She's not a fan.
I'm not a sci-fi fan.
Oh, it's amazing.
Yeah, it's so good.
But I've not been a fan of any. Well, I think I only saw one Alien movie. I don't even know if I got all the way through it.
Yeah,
and
she doesn't like it.
Yeah, just not my jam.
Yeah,
but Nosferatu. Woo!
Yeah, that was a good one.
Love that one. I'm gonna check out Scott's films though.
Yeah.
I'm all about.
Yeah, honestly, they're so good. Hounds of Love, honestly, Hounds of Love. I cannot push that enough, and it's true. It actually happened, and just the manipulation she went through was like it's a weird feeling to start to sympathize with someone that is doing such disgusting acts.
Yeah.
So it's fascinating, honestly, fascinating film.
And if anyone does want to watch Peter Pan, it's in the cinemas across America on the 13th, 14th, and 15th of January, isn't it, Scott?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Definitely go watch it.
Yeah, go see it.
It's a tough watch, but it is really, really, really good.
Yep.
Awesome.
Thank you.
All right. Well, thanks, Scott and Rhys, for coming on the show. We look forward to seeing it again in theaters, and we look forward to all that's coming up in the universe or the Poohniverse here.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, thank you again for coming on, and we hope to see you guys soon to discuss some of the other ones as they release.
Yes,
totally.
This has been Scare Talk. Sleep tight.
Don't let Peter Pan bite.